top of the 7th inning, 8-0 game, as you can see on the marvelous scoreboard, and also you see on your screen for those of you watching on Channel 19 or perhaps on YouTube on Cuesta HD TV. This is a broadcast that's been brought to you by the Associated Students of Cuesta College. The ASCC would like to remind Cuesta students that they can purchase a student ID card and receive discounts from local merchants. Some of the folks you saw on your screen, like Subway, Bubo Records, Via Automotive, Chili's, and much, and we possibly could even add a third much more. For more information, go to room 5300. That's next to the bookstore. Go see the ASCC. They want to help you. Please let them. In the top of the 7th, a chopper by Tollison goes right back to Nelson, who's gone the entire way. A throw over to Shields, and there's one down. 5th batter retired in a row by Andrew Nelson. Go to the number 8 spot. It's the catcher, Tyler Schultz, who has a RBI double and a single to go with a ground out to short.
Randy, who do we have coming up in the bottom of the 7th for us?
Due to arrive in the bottom of the 7th, as Schultz is at the plate, it will be 2, 3, and 4. Montanari, Dominguez, and Hindle, as Schultz sends this one high, possibly playable. Montanari racing over by his dugout and unable to pull that in, as basically ran out of room and just falls for a strike. So 2, 3, and 4.
Okay, well, the heart of the lineup coming up.
Absolutely. As you get a look and you can enjoy the hills in the distance. Nice work by John Arno's crew. Again, student and community volunteers.
Talented kids.
The broadcast, absolutely.
Led by a talented man.
That's right. A team of diverse individuals who have come together to produce fine broadcasts, as they have many times this year in many sports and venues all across campus. Schultz with an 0-2 count. One down, base is clear in the 7th. He will chop this one wide of the baseline along the first base side. This year we've done all the various steps: men's and women's water polo, some volleyball, nice. Men's and women's basketball, softball, baseball.
You've been very eclectic.
We have, and there's been a lot of other folks helping out in the broadcast.
Do you do the play-by-play for all those?
As many as my schedule allows.
Wow, that's wonderful. So you can describe a volleyball game?
Absolutely.
Wow, that's great.
You know what? Try doing that on radio sometime. It's a marvelous challenge.
I would imagine so.
A 1-2, and Schultz is going to chop this. Shields going to wait for it, and it's foul. So 1-2. In fact, also on times where I can't come, my longtime friend and local broadcast colleague, Mike Moreno, a North County resident like yourself, has helped us out many times.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Schuler, the ever-versatile one. Pete Schuler is not unfamiliar to the
Sports
Cuesta
Information
TV
Director at Cuesta.
Slash, he's like the Cordell Stewart of athletic personnel, because you've got also head women's water polo coach.
Very talented individual.
Absolutely. Extremely helpful person. 1-2 pitch inside,
and
2
like
and
you,
2.
A walking encyclopedia.
I would say I try to research things, but Pete Schuler, he is
amazing.
The walking tome.
He really is.
Especially when it comes to Cuesta College. And, of course, the Athlete of the Year banquet is coming up soon. 2-2 pitch, swung and a missed, a strikeout for Nelson, and they are 2 down now in the 7th inning. Brandon Moronis coming up, and, of course, also we're very close to the 7th inning stretch, which, not that it's not a special time at ballparks anywhere, but one that, of course, you are become personally involved with this year.
Yes. I don't know how that started, but I get to choose my song for the 7th inning stretch, and I have a special song today.
Well, you always do.
Yes,
I know it's well considered.
It is.
It's a strike, 0-1 to Moronis.
It's definitely not something I think of lightly. I put some, as you say, consideration into it.
And you bring to bear your voluminous knowledge of music.
Well, not as voluminous as yours.
Doesn't mean it's not voluminous. 0-2. And again, yours is definitely diverse and eclectic. We might add, as Anthony is working to coordinate this effort as we speak. 0-2 count with 2 outs. Andrew Nelson, despite some rough patches today, is in the middle of a real strong pitching run right here. Hit over to second base. Murillo ranges over, gets the ball on the hop over to Shields, and that is it. And Nelson, for the second straight inning, a 1-2-3 inning, so nothing across. It's time to stretch. at Cuesta Field with the Cougars down 8-0. 2, 3, and 4 coming up when we return to Cuesta Field on Cuesta HD TV.
This program is produced by Cuesta Broadcasting. Start your radio, TV, and film career at Cuesta College.
And we go to the bottom of the 7th inning as the 7th inning stretch out of the way. And as you know, it is Cuesta TV, and more importantly, it is Cuesta HD TV. You can see all of this stuff in shimmering high definition thanks to the power of the internet, and more specifically at YouTube, where we have Cuesta softball, water polo, volleyball, basketball, and of course baseball, as this is not our first broadcast of the year. Be sure to log on to Cuesta TV, Cuesta HD TV. When you go to YouTube, do a nice search for that. You can also subscribe and keep up with what's happening as you see all the fine work done by the Cuesta Broadcast Communications Department. Bunt put down by Andrew Montanari, and it's a nice drag bunt. And that is the first hit of the game for the Cougars as Montanari finds a way to get the Cougars on the board, and just a marvelous push bunt over to the right side. And Montanari is aboard to start the Cougar 7th inning. Zach Dominguez next up. He had been previously the only Cougar base runner with a walk, his 50th of the year back in the first inning. Also had popped out to more on the outfield grass last time around on the 4th. And also notably, that comes after 16 in a row retired by Kane, broken up there by Montanari, who was able to execute a way on to the base pass. He's taking a lead now as Kane, focusing on Dominguez, fires a fastball out of the zone, 1-0. Still some loose action for Cougars in the pen, as Andrew Nelson has gone the entire way. Runner bluffs, and Kane going outside, 2-0. Took a look back over to first. As you can see, Zach Dominguez, shortstop out of Vicelli. There's now back to the plate. Kane's delivery. Fastball, but got the inner half of the plate. And it is a strike. Dominguez looking in again, watching that strike zone very carefully, as you've discussed.
Well, let's get a walk. Let's get some runners on base.
Dominguez taking his time. And back in, starting with that open stance. 2-1 count. And Kane going wide, 3-1.
He's going to work the pitcher here, as he's wont to do.
He's out for a moment, and Kane, for his part, coming into the game, only 18 walks for the season. His strikeout to walk ratio 4-1 coming in, 3-1. And that is the second walk of the game, and they're both giving up to Dominguez, and the Cougars for the first time in the game have 2 men aboard as Montanari reached on the bunt over to second, Dominguez to first, and that will bring up Parker Hindle, who has struck out twice. And now we'll have a little bit of strategy, and also that's going to provoke some action now in the Cypress bullpen. Schultz will buy a little time coming out to the mound to talk with Kane. Meanwhile, Hindle going up the line to talk with head coach Bob Miller, coming from the third base coach's box. Parker Hindle, I mentioned, coming in at 304 and the team's RBI leader with 29. Also the team double leader. Leader in a lot of power-oriented categories. It's 2 on and nobody out, bottom of the 7th in an 8-0 ball game. And Kane well outside for a rare occasion today, as going wide. One
He's
of those
showing,
pitch. Yeah.
showing frustration, too, on the mound.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of fatigue, but also, again, he's worked pretty efficiently throughout the day. But I think you're right. I think there's definitely some frustration in evidence.
I think he wanted that no-hitter, and when he lost it, you could tell how kind of just frustrated, angry he was. Some snapping.
1-0, 1-1. Disappointment for him, bidding for a playoff no-hitter. Cougars now with a hit and also with 2 base runners. And heart of the order up right now. The cleanup hitter Hindle at the plate. And responds with a nice curveball to the inside corner for strike 1 and 2 to Hindle. And as Hindle trying to avoid the hat trick today. He's gone down swinging, gone down looking. And now ready with 2 on and a 1-2 count. Curveball, and he's going to rip this one right up the middle. Starr able to get it and could have made the play himself. Instead, tried to flip it to Moore, who was covering, in the hopes of getting 2, and they end up getting none as the ball is on the ground, as they say in football, and everybody's going to be safe.
Well, this is what you've been looking for, Randy. Just some small ball, manufacture some runs, make a statement, see what that could lead to.
So what you get is the first error for Cypress, and things are all loaded up for Mac Stewart. Mac is flying out to right center, and he's flying out to right. Fastball fired low.
Now the Cypress
1-0.
bullpen's up, too, for the first time.
We'd seen a couple right-handers up a few moments ago, and continuing to throw with slightly more urgency now. Kane looks 1-0, and he will fire over to third. Cats with the lead runner Montanari, who got things going with the bunt single, then Dominguez walked, and then Hindle was safe. It was a fielder's choice, but also, in the case of this, an error as well that allowed everybody to be safe. Kane looking closely over third, coming to the plate with a 1-0 pitch, and the off-speed to strike.
Well, again, he still seems to have a good command of the strike zone, Randy.
One, and speaking of which, curveball breaks beautifully to the outside corner, 1-2.
Yeah.
No, we haven't seen anything really that you'd constitute as wild or even
No.
very rare that are even just a bit off the zone. 1-2, curveball hanging high and hit high, but not too deep in the left field. It's going near the line, and it is going to drop, and a run is going to come across for the Cougars as McWilliam made a play for it. It was high and dropped in on him, unable to come up with it. Montanari is going to come across the score. Dominguez over to third, Hindle over to second, and now Stewart is over at first as he has knocked a run in for the Cougars. So everything advances, and now just the kind of person you would want up in a bases-loaded situation, that would be Spencer Ruggles.
You just never know, Randy, right? I mean, because there's no clock in the game, you just keep battling until you run out of outs. And it's only the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, we're 2 hours in, and
Nobody
in some
out.
ways it's
Bases loaded.
taking a very interesting turn over the course of time as the curveball breaks in a strike to Ruggles, so we'll run across for the Cougars as they pick up their second hit, both hits coming in this inning. Also an error in the mix by Cypress, and still nobody out with the bases juiced. 0-1, and Ruggles, who's definitely been aggressive at the plate today, dribbles that off. 0-2.
You can do it. You can do it, Spencer. Put it out there.
And again, a good lift for the Cougars to break through and get on the scoreboard.
Yeah. Taking more time, though, between pitches, Randy.
0-2, and that one well outside, very unlike what Kane has done today. 1-2 count.
Remember you were saying earlier how quickly he was getting the ball and pitching it, and now it's taking much more time.
And there was a delay too, as you could hear the number calling in where they were calling the pitch in from the dugout. That came a little late too. So just trying to slow things down a bit. Buy himself some time, and that ball's going to be ripped on over to first base. Tollison diving for it, trying to flip on over to Kane. It's a close play at first, and they're going to say he's out, but a run does score. That is the first out of the inning. So Dominguez is going to come across for the second run of the inning. Hindle over to third, Stewart at first, but Spencer Ruggles out on a close play over at first base for the first out. Scott Shields next up. He struck out and grounded out to third. Very close play. Kane had to come over in a hurry, and Ruggles was moving down the line.
Almost.
But a run does score. It's taken inside by Shields. It's strike one.
Well, a single here halves the lead.
0-1 and a slow curveball. Shields way ahead of it, 0-2. I think I've noticed that Kane has done a nice job mixing velocities today. Glances at third, comes in, and the 0-2 pitch, fastball swung and a miss. Big cut by Shields, and again, went for that slow curve and finished it up with a fastball. And gets the strikeout for a big second out. DH Matt Bailey is next up. Matt is grounded to third, and he has struck out. So the Cougars still with 2 runners aboard in scoring position, and 2 down, 2 across already here in the 7th. There's that curveball. A little bit up, though. Ball 1. Kane, long check over to third, coming to the plate. 1-0, and a bunt put down, and a very nice one, as they're going to try and go and get that third out over first base on the hop throw. And they're going to say they were able to do it. A nice idea by Matt Bailey, putting one down in the hopes that he could beat that out and put another run across, but it was not to be. Cougars, though, do pick up a couple runs, and they do so on 2 hits. They leave a couple, and there was a Cypress error. So the Cougars are on the board after 7. We'll come back with the 8th inning. It is 8-2 Cypress on Cuesta TV.
This program is produced by Cuesta Broadcasting. Start your radio, TV, and film career at Cuesta College.